Hello, Year 1, and welcome to your last English lesson of the week and the last English lesson before half term. And my goodness, you've all earned a break. You've all done a fantastic job at home. And Mrs. Brandt and I, and all of the Year 1 team that have been working with you, have been so impressed. A big pat on the back. Well done to you guys. Our learning intention today is to redraft and illustrate a poem. Okay, now you guys did a hot task yesterday, which is fantastic. They look excellent, and I loved looking through so many of them. So remember, we've looked at our editing and improving before, and we looked at this, and it said people who write books or poems or stories, they don't just write it and send it to the publishers and think, I'm done. And that's the same with you guys at school. You shouldn't ever just write your work and go, Mr. K, I'm done, or Mrs. Brandt, I'm done. You should always edit, rework your writing to make it the best that it can possibly be, using our growth mindsets, going through our work, trying to find something that we can edit and improve. So I've got a couple of editing and improving starters today, and then your first activity is you're going to go back to your table or your workstation at home, and you're going to reread your hot task from yesterday. And I want you to decide whether you are happy with the finished product. But first of all, let's have a look at these two very quick questions. So it says, have a look at this sentence. It has two spelling mistakes. Can you find them and correct them? So pause the screen. We're going to read the sentence. Have a look for the spelling mistakes. As I walked down the road, I saw a green car racing towards me. Lovely capital letter, lovely finger spaces, lovely punctuation. There's a comma in there and there's a full stop at the end. But there are just a couple of spelling mistakes. Can you spot them? Okay, superb. So I'm going to use my green editing pen. The first spelling mistake that I can see is the word walked. Okay, so let's get that spelled correctly. Walked. How do you spell the word walk? Excellent. And to make that t sound then, walked, what do we add? Excellent. Walked. Perfect. Now there's one more. Can you spot it? Good. It's one of our tricky words, one of our common exception words, saw. Excellent. How do you spell saw? That's it, team. Well done. Like that. Okay. Easy spelling mistakes to make, aren't they? And as long as we've used our phonics, teachers don't mind. Okay, but it's always good to go back and improve our work. So maybe you can go back, have a look through. Are there any of our cold spell words that you've got wrong? Are there any words that are on the word map that you've got wrong? Are there any words that were in the original model text that you've spelt wrong? Have a little check through. Okay, now let's look at the second start question. What punctuation is missing in these sentences? Big breath, because it looks like a long sentence. Tom looked down at the dragon. It had green scales and it was blowing fire out through its nose. Tom didn't know what to do next. Oh my goodness. So they've forgotten some punctuation, and you may find this when you look through the model text and you look through your hot task, you may have missed some of the punctuation that we need at the end. Remember, it's on our toolkit. So let's have a little read through. And when we need that kind of pause for breath, that is when we need something. Tom looked down at the dragon. Okay. It had green scales and was blowing fire out through its nose. Excellent. So I'm going to put a full stop here. Tom looked down at the dragon. That's our first sentence. Then I need to change this to a nice capital, don't I? It had green scales and was blowing fire up through its nose. Tom didn't know what to do next. Where do you think I need another one there? It's quite a long sentence, that. Where can you hear the natural pause? It had green scales and was blowing fire up through its nose. Tom didn't know what to do next. Okay. Excellent. It had green scales and was blowing fire up through its nose. Full stop. Now I need a capital letter for Tom because it's a name and it's the start of my sentence. Tom didn't know what to do next. What do I need right at the end? Full stop here. Perfect. So that is a very good example of editing and improving our work. So your first activity today is to go back to your tables, reread your hot task. Are you happy with the finished product? Have you got a title? Have you got punctuation at the end? Have you got rhyming words? Is there anything you're missing? Have you spelt some of those words that are on the word map wrong? Go back and check for me. Be a detective. Check through it thoroughly. Pause the video here, and once you've done that, come back and press play. Okay, so our learning intention today says redraft and illustrate. So those are our keywords today. Now, redraft is where you rewrite your work out neatly, like a published book. When you buy a book in a shop, you don't see all of their editing, do you? You don't see all of their mistakes. You don't see it all scribbled. They write it out neatly, like a published, finished copy, and it looks beautiful. The word illustrate is where you draw pictures around your work or surrounding your work. So your task today, you are going to redraft your poem. So it means rewrite it. You're going to rewrite your hot task. You just edited it and made it look a little bit scruffy. It's fantastic, the editing, but it's a little bit scruffy. So you're going to redraft your poem. This is a really, really useful skill that we need to practice as we get older in the school as well. So we're going to redraft our poem neatly for display. You might be able to display it at home. Or when you come back to school, you can bring it in and we can display it in the school. That'll be fantastic. So I have saved for you some lovely, lovely paper. It's got handwriting lines on it, okay? And you'll be able to choose what paper you'd like. Here's a few examples. There's some leopard print and there's some kind of elephanty, scaly skin print. So the first thing you do is you redraft it. Remember to write it like a poem. Don't fill up the lines. Okay, title at the top, and then write it like a poem. Okay, you can see this poem here has been written like a poem. I can clearly see the 3 verses, so I should be able to clearly see your 3 verses, and then illustrate all around it. Draw some lovely, lovely pictures like this poem here. I love this one. This is one of our example ones that we looked at before, Bed in Summer. And they have illustrated it beautifully. They've drawn pictures all around it. So that's what I'd like you to do today. So redraft your poem, rewrite it neatly on the special paper down below, and then illustrate it. Okay, can't wait to see your perfect published copies. Well done, year 1. Another tricky week to get through, but you've done it.